Hi everyone, welcome to the All Dolphins podcast, where Omar is in a highly stressed mode. No, I'm just kidding. We're playing.
Don't
Uh,
lie to the people.
okay, it was funny. Episode 177 of the All Dolphins podcast on this Wednesday, December 27th, 2023. Shout out to my niece Lisette on her birthday. Happy
Happy
birthday!
birthday, Lisette.
I already texted her, but in the insanely unlikely event she stumbles upon this podcast, don't say I never acknowledged you. Um, Time for the player tip of the hat, number 77, the first go around. We did Jake Long. This one, we're going to do a shout out to our good friend of ours, both Omar and I, Jesse Davis, player who's taken a lot of arrows for no reason. Solid, decent offensive lineman for the Dolphins who played practically everywhere on the offensive line.
hmm
Uh,
He
now is
didn't do the Eichenberg. He didn't do the Eichenberg. What we still haven't figured out what the number five is.
yeah, somebody said Quinfecta or something to that effect.
Quinfecta. Okay, I could buy it. We didn't. He didn't do the Eichenberg Quinfecta in terms of playing all five positions. But listen, I have respect for Jesse Davis from this standpoint. It's rare that you see a former practice squad player work his way up into a starting role for multiple years on a franchise. And Jesse was good at everything except for left tackle, which was where he was asked to play during one of Brian Flores's bad seasons offensively. And honestly, I understood why they asked him to play just because he was the most capable, but it was still a bad idea.
He played everywhere but center, and when he played at guard, he was very serviceable, solid. He is now a member of the San Francisco 49ers practice squad. Bless you, Omar.
Thank you. I make the argument all the time for those who think Jesse Davis sucks, and he very might suck. Is he better than Lester Cotton and Robert Jones at this stage in terms of can help you because they're in starting roles? And your depth, your team is only as good as your depth. And Jesse Davis wasn't the problem. I will go to my grave saying that he wasn't the problem. He was made to be the problem just because he was a captain and he was the most known of the offensive linemen, but he wasn't a problem at all. Anyway,
I agree. I agree. And
well, how many things do you people see me and Poupard agreeing on?
I know it's a weird feeling. I don't like. It makes me uncomfortable. Actually, I'm going to start going like this too. What was I going to say? No, and Robert Jones and Lester Cotton are doing very serviceable jobs in the absence of Isaiah Wynn and Robert Hunt. There's obviously going to be a drop off because they're not as good. And for the most part, the Dolphins have gotten a lot of good work from their backups the entire season at every spot. Andrew Van Ginkel has been great. Duke Riley's done a very, very good job in place of Jerome Baker. I would say that Cater, when he was playing outside until Jalen Ramsey came back, was solid. He wasn't great. He was solid.
Okay.
On a little bit lately playing in the nickel because nobody's throwing at X or Jalen Ramsey. Brandon Jones Brandon Jones has done a very, very solid job, and Elijah Campbell in his one start was okay.
Liam and then Kendall Lamb has been very solid. Liam has been relatively solid. It'll be interesting to see how they finish out the rest of the season, and also then this is something we'll get into once we start addressing the injury report, which is clearly what you fine folks are here for, leading into this big AFC championship preseason, regular season version of a champ. I'm sorry, let me stumble through my words properly, please.
Okay, go for it.
It's like the regular season championship showdown. You like that?
That's pretty fair, yeah.
You like that?
There's a microscopic chance that the Cleveland Brown could sneak in and snag that number one seed, but it's highly unlikely, and it's way more likely that the winner of the game Sunday is going to land that coveted top seed, which the Dolphins haven't done since 1984.
Okay.
Been a minute, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to, as you mentioned, shall we start reading the injury report?
I don't think I want to read the injury report.
Then let's start with the highlight. To me, the highlight was a new name popping up for the first time all year, a player who came into the season with questions about his durability and nothing at all until Why are you rolling your eyes? Am I saying anything that's not true?
You didn't say a lie, but did you have to bring it up? He's been the most durable player on this team all season. He's finally on the injury report.
Correct. I'm bringing it up because of the fact that he had proven so durable after coming in with all the injury questions. By the way, if you haven't figured out by now, I'm talking about Tua, who popped up today, listed as limited with left thumb and quad injury. Now, have no clue when that might have happened. Don't know
I
the
don't think it was
severity.
something that happened just this week. I remember watching Hard Knocks Week 5 episode, and he was talking to Tyreek, and he basically was like, "Yeah, I'm banged up," and he's been taking some licks. Don't think, man. She took 2 shots against Dallas. Woo! Like those were doozies. And Hard Knocks showed him trying to greet Micah Parsons after the game, and and Micah didn't want to hear none of it, but like he was trying to tell Micah, man, you're a great player. Some of those licks you put on me, it was some good licks. But
Micah
yeah,
was like, "Get the hell out of my face! We just lost," basically.
yeah. Say he did. Tyreek said he did the same thing to him too. But
Oh, really? Okay.
he didn't want to talk to him. He was just like, send me the jersey, and that's it. Tua. What concerns me is the thumb on his throwing hand. Quarterback uses the thumb to grip the ball and impact the trajectory. I'm going to bring this up because I can and I feel like it.
Because I want to, damn it.
Yeah. Tua has had a thumb injury on his throwing hand previously in his career.
Mhm.
I didn't think it definitely didn't help the trajectory of the ball. And this is what I'm going to bring up. Patrick Mahomes, there's nobody who could tell me Patrick Mahomes was completely healthy yesterday. I mean, not yesterday in that Raiders loss, because I saw Patrick Mahomes, a guy we both know has a phenomenal arm, throwing some ducks. And I thought to myself, something's wrong. And I think that there are some games and some instances when a quarterback is dealing with something or struggling with something where it's off. My hope is that won't be Tua on Sunday. However, limited in practice. There's a reason you designate that. And on top of that, it was a short practice. And I know it was short practice because I was there. It ended early. Now, did you get all of the work that you need to get in done and just say, okay, we're cutting it short? Or did you really just see a need not to let's pace ourselves and let's conclude this and let's get this over with? Because what?
Because, well, I was going to say, because not only was Tua limited or dealing with something, but there were also like a whole bunch of frontline offensive players not practicing anyway. So
Yeah.
what's the point of having an elongated practice? To me, the big thing too is we're not going to get complete clarity on this until Friday morning, because Mike McDaniel does not speak to reporters on Thursday. We get the coordinators.
Frank Smith can provide clarity.
Like I said, we're not going to get anything from Mike. Frank Smith is going to defer. I'd be shocked, because that's been the MO. Frank Smith's going to defer.
We want answers, Frank Smith. We want answers.
We want the truth.
Yeah. See, we can do that.
See, okay.
And he's going to say, you can't handle the truth.
That's Frank's style, right?
You want me on that line. You need me on that line.
There you go. So we might not get any clarity on it. Obviously, if he's not practicing tomorrow, we'll know it's not good.
Come on, man. Tua's practicing tomorrow. Come on. Let's be real about this situation. If Tua doesn't practice tomorrow, it's panic time.
We don't know. We don't know the status, because again, we're assuming this is a result of something that happened during the game against Dallas. It's also possible that it's something happened during practice. We just don't know.
Okay, that's a very fair point. Let's go through some of these other injuries.
Go for it.
Let's get to the usual suspects on the offensive line. I know that they have Liam Eichenberg as practicing with his calf and now ankle injury. He didn't practice. Then we've got did they have Austin Jackson out there as practicing?
Limited.
He didn't practice. Then they've got Teron Armstead, who did not practice, and he clearly did not practice. Robbie Chosen is in a concussion protocol. Tyreek with the ankle and veteran rest day. Oh, Tyreek rest up, heal up, get right. Devon Achane with that toe injury did not practice. Expect him to practice later in the week. As you know, we've said it before on the All Dolphins podcast. Toes get worse before they get better. So he's going to be on a maintenance program. Raheem Mostert. I always find it funny when Mike McDaniel has to talk about Raheem Mostert and injuries. And he's just basically like, yeah, like, do you think that I can get that guy to not play? It's like, that's a tree I'm not climbing. What was the term he used?
Yes, that's a tree I'm not trying to climb or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's a tree I'm not trying to climb. Raheem probably isn't going to practice. If he practiced once this week, I'd be shocked. And he's gonna fight them for that one practice this week, but he's definitely playing. And Javon Holland. This is the news. This is the news of the day. You have it up on alldolphins.com. Javon Holland, for the first time in a month, participated in individual drills. That is the baby steps of beginning the return process. Mm-hmm. I was hopeful that Robert Hunt would begin the practice of participating in individual drills. It did not happen. Once you have those baby steps, you are actually beginning your return. Until you make them, Now, talking to Javon after practice, Javon basically said, I'm trying to take my time. I'm not rushing it. I'm paying way more attention to my movement and steps and mobility than I've ever had. And he said something that I found very telling. He said, this was a serious injury. And, you're out for a month. Yes, it's a serious injury. To both knees, yes, it's a serious injury. And I'm at the point now where I think that they will be finished the season without Javon Holland on the field. Regular season without Javon Holland on the field.
Yeah.
And that's a scary proposition because this is a week that I thought that he would be back. This is a week that I thought that you absolutely, unequivocally, without a doubt, no sliver of reservation, you needed him to beat Lamar Jackson. And it does not look like he's going to be there. No?
Do you absolutely need him to beat the Ravens? No.
Hold on.
Hold on.
I'm gonna hit you with it's been a long time since I gave you a timeout.
Yes, it is.
Timeout.
Go ahead.
What is Deshaun Elliott's weakness and limitation?
You know damn well it's coverage, and it's the same for Brandon Jones.
I got two coverage shortcoming safeties out there against Lamar Jackson. Not to say that he's going to be airing it out and killing you and carving you up with the aerial assault, but it's all hands on deck. It's all hands on deck,
dude. Obviously, you'd like to have everybody there, but I don't know that I'm going to call him indispensable. I truly don't. I mean,
Javon, you're not going to call Javon indispensable? You mean Pro Football Focus's top-rated safety in the NFL when he was playing? You're not going to call him indispensable?
Well, Pro Football Focus is correct. The best safety in the NFL in 2023 will be in Baltimore on Sunday. That's Kyle Hamilton. It's not Javon Holland. And having said that, I said what I said. Having said that, Kyle Hamilton did not practice, although Kyle Hamilton was not listed as a practice participant on Wednesday. The Ravens had a walkthrough, probably the result of playing Monday night. So their injury report was based on an estimation. They estimated Kyle Hamilton not practicing, Zay Flowers not practicing, and he's dealing with a calf injury. And guard
something that slows down Zay Flowers.
Kevin Zeitler, knee quad. Those are the three guys. Going back to the Dolphins, another big bit of news for me was Mike McDaniel's comments on Jalen Waddle, who did not practice. Did say it's a high ankle sprain, quote unquote, not too severe. Don't want to rule him out just yet.
Walking boot.
He's not playing. Forget it. I mean, high ankle sprain.
Damn, don't do it like that. Don't do it like that. There's a sliver of hope that he plays. Sliver, small, but it's there.
He's not playing. Um, I would be shocked if he were able to play.
Who steps up then? Poupard?
Robbie Chosen's in the concussion protocol, so chances are
It's not going to be him.
going to be
No Dolphins player has ever suffered a concussion the previous week and then played the next week. It just hasn't happened this season for Miami, and rightfully so, considering they're at the epicenter of concussion gate last year. So,
and there have been a couple more episodes of concussion gate this season, starring T.J. Watt, and was it a night game where he got clearly banged up, and they basically came back in the game like very shortly thereafter, and there are a couple of other weird instances there. Who steps up? A whole lot of Tyreek. Durham Smythe again gets targeted quite a bit.
Durham Smythe actually practiced today, by the way, which is a first in months.
I don't even see him. He's not even on the injury report anymore.
Yeah, man. Look, Durham Smythe is off the injury report. Hallelujah.
So is Kendall Lamb with the back issue. Gone.
Kendall Lamb, Austin Jackson, as I told you, did not practice. Kendall Lamb is, anyway, I'm not going to tell you what depth chart says. Or Kendall Lamb started for Austin Jackson last week.
He did.
And there's a possibility that he might actually start if Austin Jackson isn't capable of playing. But then you also have Keon Smith and some practice squad guys that I can't remember their names right now.
Ryan Hayes.
Ryan Hayes, one of your draft picks. Yes, 7th round draft pick. Who's still here, who's still trending. Devon Achane is the one that concerns me the most because, and I know Raheem is banged up, but Achane is a very important player to this offense. What's his yards per carry average down to now? Is it back to human size?
Oh, it has to be.
Yes, it's at 8.1.
That's still insanely ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, their rushing yards per attempt is down to 5.0, which is, pretty much the lowest it's been probably all season. They've one of the few teams that have rushed for over 2,000 yards. They also got 26 touchdowns. But Jeff Wilson is going to be in position to probably step up, contribute a little bit more. He's only had 29 carries this season. But as you all know, this is a team that relies heavily on their balanced offense. And my biggest concern about this team moving forward, because this is December football, this is postseason football, this is playoff football, is can you run the ball consistently? And right now, the struggle has begun.
Except they just beat a 10-4 team with very mediocre rushing numbers. The only thing is the running game came through when it had to. To me, it's a lot more about situational football. And I think the Dolphins still going to do their damage offensively through the air. And they need to continue to have some success in that area and then continue to play the great defense they've been playing for quite a while and get some breaks, like the turnover at the 2-yard line on a bad exchange. Although we cannot tip the hat enough to Deshaun Elliott, because I look at that. I've seen that replay now about 12 times, and how there's a picture when Tony Pollard gets into the open, and if I were to tell you he's not going to score a touchdown on that play, I might get committed, because that's it was just 1 out of 100 the running back does, and
sometimes I think about getting you committed anyway.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like that. Tony, I don't know how badly Tony Pollard's getting killed for not lowering his shoulder, getting low, trying to bulldoze Elliott instead of sidestepping inside him. But massive props to Deshaun Elliott for a fabulous tackle. And in a game you win by 2 points where that's a 7-point swing right there. That was huge. We should mention, I know you're not big on kickers and all that, but hat tip to Jason Sanders being named as I predicted. Come on, give me some.
Yeah, you get the prediction props. The funny thing is about Jason Sanders is, here's a secret. Everybody knows my rule. I don't talk to kickers. And so when everybody's going up to talk to Jason Sanders, a regular media scrum, I initially didn't take any interest. Then I had nothing to do better in the locker room. Nobody was in there. So I walked over there, listened to Jason Sanders. And he said some really interesting things that I was just like, wow, that's pretty good.
He's a good dude.
Huh?
He's a good dude. I like Jason.
Yeah, I would never know because I don't talk to kickers. No
Are they
disrespect to
beneath you? Yeah,
kickers.
pretty much. Yeah.
um, as a kicker, you're painted as the villain if you miss, and you're the hero if you make it. Then he was talking about the locker room. He's like, this locker room is different, and you hear it all the time, and it's so true. Everyone cares about each other. Everyone likes being around each other, and it's absolutely true. These guys absolutely love each other, and they're gonna miss each other when the season is done. They're gonna play so they can continue to be together. That's the kind of vibe that you get from this locker room. I think even Chubb was talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. It's like they're doing this for each other, and team success is great, but they're playing for one another. And then he started talking about his shoes, and became, it's sneakers, so I'm kind of really fascinated by it. And he was basically like, when you find one cleat that you really like, you like buy a whole bunch of them, because even though they're making a new model the next year's model might be different. And he says he uses two cleats per season, one for practice, and then one that he just only cracks open for game day. So it's always the same cleat, but one for the season practices, and then one for game day. And man, that whole cleat thing, found it fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. I made a face when you said that, like they're playing for each other, and then I want to address that because I'm gonna get killed in the comments. What I meant by, and my whole face was like, to me, it's not so much that it's like you got guys, they're all playing for the same common goal as opposed to guys rowing in different directions, which does happen. For example, in Green Bay, where Jair Alexander decided, since they were playing in Carolina and he's from there, he would just run onto the field for the coin toss, even though he wasn't a captain. And he gets suspended one game, by the way, if you guys aren't aware of that. I mean, crazy story. Here, the other thing about kickers too is, and I get it. And no, you're not going to talk to them normally unless they do something really, really, really
Yeah.
good, or unless they completely mess up.
Mhm.
And then they have to be. You're going to go to the kicker if he blows a chip shot field goal and loses a game. So to me, it's kind of only fair. Go give him his props. When he does nail the game winner, and Omar's giving me the look like, no, he shouldn't. But
He did his job. I'm sorry. I've always had
three
that.
50-yard field goals is going above and beyond the Call of Duty for a field goal kicker. I'm
He did
sorry.
his job. He went out and he did his job. Okay. You're giving a hat, and I get it. They're 50-yard field goals. Well, isn't his job to make 50-yard field goals? 5 of them.
Yeah, but if you make 3 in one game, acknowledge that it's, again, I understand that's what he's paid to do, but you acknowledge that it's because I could turn it around and say, for any player on the team, if Tua's throwing touchdown passes, well, that's his job, isn't it? Tyreek Hill catching passes, isn't that his job? You're still going to
Fair.
give him kudos.
The man worked 20 minutes a day in practice. Like,
Ooh,
did I tell a lie?
you did not tell a lie, but again,
Like,
it's the nature of the job.
look at Bailey. He's kicked 45 punts this season. Like, serious? Like 45 punts?
Also holds.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The important
Okay.
job of holding.
Okay, going back to Tua, he did his weekly media session after practice today, was asked about the monster game he had at Baltimore last year, 42-38 and typical. And I wrote about it on alldolphins.com. You have no idea how much I love it when I start saying something and you're immediately going like, in typical Tua fashion, he completely downplayed it. And what was actually most interesting about the whole thing, and don't reveal exactly all he said because I want people to read my story, was what Mike McDaniel took away from that game, which was really Tua's like breakout game in the NFL.
Okay, and don't reveal. Look at you teasing it.
That's all
Okay.
the tease. I want people to
Okay. You're gonna have to click on the story on alldolphins.com to go find it. Okay. And while you're there, did you put my column along with your story about Tua
It's in
and
there.
how this is his moment, man. This is his window of opportunity to seal and solidify his elite quarterback reputation. You go out there, you beat Lamar Jackson. You go next week, you go out there and you beat Josh Allen. And I know it's not Josh Allen versus Tua, but if your team triumphs and owns the number 1 seed in AFC, everybody knows the quarterback, the MVP award goes to the quarterback on the best team 90% of the time. So
I will give you statistically, it has gone to a 1 or 2nd seed, to a quarterback on a 1 or 2nd seed every year since 2013. Or is it just the number 1 seed? 1 or 2 seed. So based on that logic, your MVP is going to be Lamar Jackson, Tua Tagovailoa, Brock Purdy, or Jalen Hurts. Based on that logic, but maybe the voters this year will actually use some originality and look beyond that, or maybe Tua completely balls out in the next 2 games and he absolutely deserves it.
Here's my, and this is not an excuse, because as I wrote in the column, I don't want excuses at this point. I don't want to hear about the thumb. I don't want to hear about the offensive line. I don't want to hear about playing without Jalen Waddle or not having 100% Tyreek. Elite quarterbacks, no matter what. Like, you're telling me just because everybody knows that Patrick Mahomes playing with a bunch of bums on his offensive line and because his wide receivers suck, are you telling me that the standard for the Kansas City Chiefs isn't Super Bowl or bust? Because I'm pretty sure that it is. But everybody expects Patrick Mahomes to be the quarterback that raises the tide and makes everything right. Tua should have the exact same expectations. Tua should be able to deliver the exact same thing as what Patrick Mahomes can do. If you want that elite reputation, if you want the elite salary, this is the pressure is what comes with it. And he's on the biggest stage and he needs to win on a big stage. There is no bigger stage in the NFL, and players have talked about it. This is what you play for. This is what you're looking forward for. This is the best team that we will face all season. And we're going to show that we're right up there with them, if not taking them down. So I'm very excited about Sunday's game.
No, those are fun games. So this is like, and I said this after the Dallas game. I mean, that was fun because there's some tension in there, and it's not like, I mean, they're gonna win if they take care of their business. And obviously, I understand the Tennessee game didn't go the right way because of the collapse in the 4th quarter. But still, you go into the game, and the general feeling is like, another opponent you're gonna spank all night and move on. These next 2 games, and starting with the one against Dallas, those are like, this is fun stuff. I'm with you there.
It's the monumental stuff that sets you up for a great run. I think that outside of injuries, this team is trending up. Now, their offense is trending down. Their running game is trending down. But collectively, in terms of playing together, I think they're trending up and heading in the right direction. But we'll see how they perform against a very physical Baltimore Ravens team, and even Mike McDaniel and players on the team, including Tua, take offense to certain people, will not call any names, who view the Dolphins as a finesse team, just because they have
as more finesse than power. Can we at
least give them some power? Can we say that they can play with power, or no?
At times, yes. But
we got to throw in a qualifier.
They are still more finesse than they are power.
They are a team that can play with power and finesse. Okay. They are a full encompassing team. There's nothing that this team cannot do. What can they not do? Answer that. What can they not do?
The book has not been completely written yet.
It's only 15 weeks in the season. The book has not been completely written yet.
Yeah, you're catching me on the spur of the moment, and I don't know to answer your question.
Okay.
At the moment, I can't come up with maybe I'm tired. I can't come up with a clever, smart-ass answer like I always do. Nothing is coming to my mind. They are one of the most complete teams in the NFL. I mean, I think that's pretty clear. So yeah. I don't know if that it's in a roundabout way answering your question. But to me, it's like I still see San Francisco, even though they got spanked by the Ravens, that's clearly the best team in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Detroit's defense. The Eagles' offense is inconsistent and kind of shaky.
Dallas is
Dallas lacks certain je ne sais quoi. I'm not convinced that Dallas is not the second most complete team in the NFC, if I'm going to be honest about it. In the AFC, I think it's Baltimore, it's the Dolphins. KC's got too many. To me, it's actually KC, Baltimore, and Buffalo. I mean, and Cleveland. I think Cleveland is.
You know what you leaving out, and who's going to be mad at you?
Who?
Dan Quinn. Detroit Lions.
Dan Quinn's.
I'm sorry. Dan Campbell.
No, I mentioned the Lions. I don't like their defense. I don't think their defense is Super Bowl caliber. I truly don't, and that's why. Like even against Minnesota last week when they clinched their first division title since 1903 or something like that, gave up an awful lot of yards. They came up with a key interception at the end of the game, but I don't trust that defense in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. But it'll be interesting to see how this week transpires. Tomorrow, be back. We'll be on Tyreek watch. We'll be on Waddle watch. We'll be on Austin Jackson watch.
Watch.
Who? Yeah.
Watch.
Who's practicing?
Okay, there you go.
Who's practicing?
Here, folks. Omar has decreed that there's nothing to see here.
Wasn't it Baltimore week where we had the thumb issue and then there was the golf gate? Wasn't it Baltimore?
I believe that's what it was, because the week before he like banged his thumb in a game at Buffalo. In fact, it was 2021.
Don't you dare look it up.
I'm going to look it up very quickly. I mean, you should begin the process of signing us out.
Yes.
And then I'll look it up.
So here we are. We're right back where we started from. Buffalo week, thumb issue. And this is 2020?
2021. Oh, exactly. He had the thumb injury against Buffalo. They played Houston the following week. Brissett was at QB. They won an ugly game. And then was the Baltimore Thursday night game.
Yes.
So
there you go. Was allegedly golfing on game day, which didn't go over well.
Omar, sign us out. Come on.
Yes. You know how to find us, alldolphins.com. Work for free. No pay subscription. Poupard's got how many stores today, Poupard?
I got 6. You have 2.
Damn, you got 6?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, workaholic. And you know how to find us on YouTube, on audio, all the audio streaming sites that allow podcasts to be on. Please like, share, subscribe, and we will be back tomorrow to give you your daily wrap on alldolphins.com.
Thanks, everyone.